Welcome back to Let's Review It and an update on the Ducati Panigale V4. If you haven't watched our first ride review where I used the word amazing about 15,000 times, then click on the link in the description below or use the link above. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'm going to tell you about some of the most annoying features that I found with the Panigale V4 and some good ones too. So let's start by addressing the obvious flaws. In my first review, I absolutely slated the quality of the mirrors and the fact that they didn't fold in, and this is the end result. I was backing it into the shed, you can see behind me, very carefully. The mirror glanced the door and snap. So before you know it, now I've had to buy a new one. £157. It's just a rip-off. It's just a piece of plastic. Ducati, you can do better. So the next thing to talk about is textures. There's textures everywhere, everything is textured, and the problem with textures is it means that everything gets really dirty and is almost impossible to clean. So here you can see a textured finish on the heel plate, which looks lovely, but your boot soon scuffs that finish away and it looks really nasty. Next moan is this. It looks like it is designed to take the wheel off of a truck, but in fact it is designed to take the wheel off of a Ducati. It's 55mm, it's friggin' heavy, and you've got absolutely no chance of taking this wheel nut off without someone sitting on the bike with all their weight on it, with it in gear, with their foot on the back brake, and even then it's torqued up so much that you just turn the wheel even though it's on the ground. It's absolutely insane. You've got absolutely no chance of taking this off unless you're doing it regularly on a track day with a power tool, and you don't even want to know how much I paid for this. Pillion seat. So it sits about 7 inches higher than the rider, which I'm told is actually not that bad. In terms of rider comfort, it was okay for me. The peg height and the seat height are quite far apart, so it's actually quite comfortable for your pillion, and it's actually not that bad for a sport bike. However, getting this on and off, you can access this rear nut underneath here, but you can't get an Allen key underneath here. You just can't get it under there, so you have to take this entire shroud off here to be able to get an Allen key underneath there to take the bolt off. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it turns out fitting the mirror is actually one of the easier things that you can do with the Ducati. So we've made up and we're friends again. So let's talk about some bits that I didn't mention before that actually are really good about the Panigale V4. So as I've already mentioned, the pillion seat, as far as sports bikes go, I'm told is quite comfortable. My wife goes in the back all the time, says the visibility is great, and actually the position of the pillion doesn't place too much weight on the rider's wrist, so that's one. Second thing is how easy the battery is to access. So rather than being under the seat like it would be on a traditional sports bike, it's actually underneath this air cover here. It's 4 Allen key bolts. Pop it off and you've got easy access to the slimline battery, which makes it really easy to fit like things like Optimate chargers, chargers for sat navs, and all that kind of stuff. So that's 2. Automatic headlights, which switch on in low light conditions, also switches the dashboard over from a white hue to a black hue. That's 3. Small aerodynamic features that no one really talks about. Obviously it's got a fairly tall screen, which is really good and reduces buffeting, but actually underneath here, as you turn the yoke and the forks move, there's little aerodynamic flaps that move in and out and prevent air from getting sucked up underneath the yokes and pushed over the rider's head. Nice feature. That's 4. Finally then, it's the looks. I mean, it is just the most beautiful bike you're ever likely to see. It handles really well, the engine is sublime, it sounds amazing even with a standard exhaust on it, and yeah, I still love it. I don't want to give it back, but I think, you know, for a 20 grand motorbike, some of the little details that I've mentioned are really irritating. And what's even worse is obviously Ducati have just brought out their 2020 range, and actually the standard model now has got a revised side fairing. It's got the aerodynamic winglets on the front, and apparently there's some geometry and engine changes, which is really frustrating for anyone that has just gone out and bought the 2019 model. And you're already starting to see the prices drop to kind of £15,000–16,000 pounds, which is quite worrying for me really, considering what I paid for this bike. So I'd love to hear, you know, what any of you kind of co-owners, you know, think about your bikes if you've experienced any of the same problems as me. But it's about to get mothballed for the winter now. I suspect next year I'm going to be doing some track days and stuff like that. So, you know, stay tuned, subscribe, check out some of the other bike videos, and we'll be back soon with some more updates on the Panigale V4. Take care.